Hello everyone, my name is Tony today I'm going to repeat this video. Why it sucks to be Jupiter. There's nothing but silence and you are all alone. You notice a faint light, the baby sun, surrounded by gas and dust everywhere. Suddenly, you realize there are many others like you. They all recognize that you are the largest with the strongest gravity, which naturally makes them smash into you. And now it's even causing you to be voting from all the gas you're attracting. Well, you've only been alive a few million years, and your massive size is already causing you pain. Like you are the skeleton of a constituent on my 60 billion life. You have no shape yet. Just a roaring storm of gas and rock, closing, compressing, and collapsing inward. Something else slams into you, or it's a chunk of rock the size of a small moon. Hey, watch where you are before thought can even finish forming. You've absorbed it. Oh wow, you're gigantic. Turns out you took all of the sun's left over from his birth. And in fact, you own 70% of the mass of the planet in the solar system. Does that make you the king? Maybe. But first, you need to see who else exists around you here. You notice it's your first moon, Ganymede. So cute. You're made of the same hydrogen and helium as the sun. But when you try to ask him where he came from, he just ignores you because apparently he's the king around here. And he can do that. Well, it's been 10 million years, and there goes the only positive dream you ever had. You know it, right there. Your name will be Jupiter, and you will take over the solar system. But not in the way that you might think. Why are you not a star like the sun? If you're made from the same material, and why are you must a planet and not like the center of attention like him? It's time to find out. You begin to move closer to the sun, taking Ganymede with you, of course. We're going to show him why you deserve to be in control. But suddenly, you get pulled back. Turns out, you didn't from by yourself. Saturn is also there and want to save you from Saturn. Then, he explains how no one can defeat the sun. He's just too big, even for you. You try, you end up like that exoplanet who is shaped like a football. And thanks to this grand tech hypothesis, you survive. See around him. All the other baby planets are forming. Two rocky ones, icy ones, tiny ones. But everything you do is clumsy, and turns out you actually just kind of threw half of them into the sun and out of the solar system with your magnetism. Your white size and gravity actually help cell babies the orbits of the suffering. Dennis, I mean you killed the rest, but you accidentally organized the solar system while trying to mess it up. Just fell successfully. Now that you're further away, the sun has to yell, but she says thanks for the cleaning up the mess, janitor. Excuse me, janitor? Sure, you just accidentally cleaned up the mess. Idiot. But that doesn't mean he can talk to you like that. In fact, your gravity literally makes him wobble like a goat on a unicycle. Yes, that's right. You cause the sun to wobble around a gravitational point, but he doesn't care and is ignoring you again. Well, that aside, you and all the other planets from the center into their final places, and you gain a lot of moons, like 35 or something, with more and more, always being detected. You never know their names, but you and attach to them anyways, except your favorites, the largest is of course Ganymede, who has been used so far, and this only moon have its own magnetic field. Then is Io, a firecracker of a whole world with many volcanoes. So fun. The third largest aeroport, who is there to you on the water ocean. He thinks more valuable because of it. And Callisto, yeah. He is kind of bit of astronaut, but he lived a long time like a family turtle that gets passed down through generations. Now that everything he said done, the chance of beating the sun are basically zero. What is your actually proposed around here? Surely you aren't really go to the dangerous solar system, right? But before you find out, you see the Earth going to 100 different variants of phases from her tectonic plate of the sun. Barrier keep you away from him in the barrier mentioned, which means the sun forcing you force yourself live a cold where you are 45 Celsius, minus 45 Celsius. When this going to stop? Trying to stay positive and leave your inside. Staying for 1,000, even harder than the surface of the sun, but not even that helps your surface be less cold because you're just a bloated planet filled mostly with gas. You're the farthest biggest planet rotating in the fastest with the biggest storm in the solar system. And even if it is dying, you're still the heaviest, which means that you can control the rest of the planets and object, right? You don't have to thinking at them. After all, you only been alive a couple hundred million years and controlling things seems to be the purpose of life. You come to be the leader of gas giants and the planets Neptune. Yes, you're only the biggest because you're born first, and it doesn't mean thanks to your gravity, you're still the janitor. Well, you tell him that janitors don't have rings. Are the rings in the room with us now? Okay, well, maybe here I have a point. Your pathetic dust rings are made from dead moons and rocks, so you not as important as you thought, and you are literally surrounded by trash. But maybe being a janitor then is not that bad. You're 300 times the mass of the Earth. After all, everything should orbit the sphere respect you. You protect the other planets from the dangers with a large gravity and huge magnetic field, which gives you massive aura. Kiss my call today, massive aura. Yes, yes, for all these reasons, they should worship you. The radiance to synthesis makes the rest of the solar system radiant. We've got the denotating system. In fact, Paul over there is getting blessed with about 3,016 RAM per day. That's enough to turn a human into a a glowing matter of hours. Some so powerful, right? But 4 billion years ago by an instance. Well, the other planets for you, it either fell a lot longer because you're a danger and no one care about anything that you just glitz yourself about. Oh, that's enough. It reverses you thought you were in control, but simply are not. How is that possible? You give them more radiant than you receive the sun. By a lot, does no one care? You realize the sun simply concerned with his galactic journey, taking to the other stars like Vader just and you're doing his job, while he pays the bills and lights off the planets. He gets all the credit, but you hold everything. Together, you clean up the messes. And what do you get? Nothing. It's very random. Comments like simply call it with you. How is this fair? You know realizes your life that's monotonous and miserable. The only way out of the situation is through the Mergan. But thanks to Saturn and the Sun, the laws of physics you aren't going anywhere. Ever, which means you have no free will and your gravity just protects everyone else, even if you don't want to. So no magnetic all these moons is like herding cats in the dark. A light bulb goes off. But what if you could be a star? Saturn laughs, as if the many unlikely things would ever happen in a row for you to achieve that dream. It's like the 600 billion contestants from before, rejecting a side of free pizza. But the something that materially could happen to you is a non-zero probability, proven by everything happens perfectly no matter how unlikely. But right now, it actually seems like mine was over there. A fat black hole flies just close enough to the solar system and slings you out. Because of your powerful gravity, on the way out you smash into the Earth and the entire solar system is down into chaos. But who cares? They thought you were a genius. After all, in your free-floating planet, Ragu, see the losers? You're different alone, vast empties of the space. Is pitch black and it'd be hard to find a new home, but with no sun to object, the planets will protect you, and no moons to nag you. It's just you and your dream of becoming a star to take you to the sun. How could you get back to the solar system is a problem for another day. This will all take a few billion years, but, but all you need are a few days. One dwarf, brown dwarf, which are failed stars that are still much heavier than you, but they are the key to our evolution. Fortunately, the black hole left behind a lot of gas. Spent a nice few billion years eating that up and gaining around 13 times the mass you extends, but you keep floating through free spaces in glass, but you're starting to feel funny. Your core has compressed you and then you can feel the pressure rising. Turns out you are now just the right massive to start a little bit of fusion. Basically using your hydrogen atoms to make some energy nowhere. Near big enough to be a star, but enough to turn you into a brown dwarf that has a stubble reddish brown glow. You're like that. Your core reaches 2 million and you feel warm for the first time in your life. You focus on finding more gas, which is easy to do because the black hole left a trail of crumbs behind him, like hostels and weirdo, and it's just like a gravitational path. Once you get hidden that you're only 20 times your original mass though. That's not enough. You need to at least 80 times your mass to become a star. This will take you a while, but wait. Look, another extremely unlikely thing has happened. You see a herd of brown dwarfs, more than you, are sitting at the same place. They're trying to get into the free-flowing planet club and they're being rejected. That's because they're not really stars and they're not really planets. You energize and you get closer. These things are still huge, almost like you. You can't just observe them, right? I'd be like watching a hippo eating a hippo. Well, it has to be all done and you start sucking slowly, consuming the tiniest ones in like a black hole. And as you do that again, more, you gain more and more mass, more gravity, more pull. One by one to fall into as long as theoretically enough times bigger than them and can stretch them past like the car road limit. You know? How hypothetically 40 times 50, 60, 70, 80. You feel like the pressure is immense, painful. By a crown from eating his two main jelly beans, which kind of the your car collapses. And work with a temperature of 3 million Celsius, fusion has ignited. That's when the hydrogen inside your masses together so hard that it turns into a new element, helium, and release a ton of energy. It's like unstoppable space fire that keeps burning as long as you have full. And thanks to your feet, you're no longer Jupiter, the planet. You are Jupiter, the star. You are a red dwarf, the absolute smallest real star possible, but a star nonetheless. Oh, you thought you would get bigger like the sun to take him on. No, you're only 1.2 times bigger than we're as a planet, and you only have 0.8 times the mass of the sun. The sun's core is also 5 times harder than you and is 99.5% brighter. You wanted this? Right. You wanted to be a star. Well, you could just leave behind the solar system. Keep roaming, be a rogue star. Find a rogue planet and create your own home. One that lives in the trillions of years, unlike the sun, who is going to die after 111 billion years. Maybe you can't even have some humans of your own. That sounds nice. Wait, what's that smell? You wake up. I unleash another volcano again. It was only a dream. Turned out for all that to happen, it would have to be 0.0. You know what? This much probably. It doesn't even look like invisible possible of where you roll the size anyway. Nope, you are instantly the janitor of the solar system until the sun dies. And if it gets large enough, you strap in the skeleton with only core remaining. There's nothing that happens to make you satisfied with the even being. You truly have the worst life ever. But do you? Thank you for listening. Goodbye.